Drew Brees is struggling right now. Well, I guess that's what the media is saying about him. But is Drew Brees still good enough to lead the Saints to a Super Bowl?
Absolutely. And I don't think, come on, I don't think he needs to be, oh, I'm so sorry. I got to stop doing that. I don't think he needs to be like Patrick Mahomes or like Lamar Jackson. That team, New Orleans, is stacked. You know, you got Alvin Kamara, you got Michael Thomas. He didn't play last game. You got Michael Thomas, you got Emmanuel Sanders, you got a pretty good offensive line, you got a solid defense.
Sanders had, I think, 0 catches last game against the Raiders.
I don't know what's wrong, but he's still solid. You know, you got Marcus Lattimore, you got Marcus Williams, you got Marshawn Lattimore. I'm so sorry. You got Marshawn Lattimore, you got Marcus Williams, you got Cameron Jordan. You got a pretty solid defense. You have the pieces. Drew Brees doesn't need to be elite to make a deep run. He just has to be really, really, really good. And I think he can still do that. It's just, it's been 2 weeks. Like you said, no OTAs, no practice really. So he got to get the rust off. He's also old as hell too. So,
I think he does have to be elite. You see the past Super Bowl winners, Nick Foles, he's not an elite quarterback, but he played like an elite quarterback in that Eagles run.
He played elite one game. Against the Vikings. Atlanta, he didn't play good.
Versus the Patriots, he didn't play elite?
Oh, okay. That's in the Super Bowl, though. To get there, he only played elite one game. In Atlanta, he played horrible. That was a dugout game. That was a defensive game. He didn't play. Don't do that. I see what you're trying.
But he did. He did play elite, though. 500 yards against Tom Brady. That's
in the Super Bowl. But to get there, though, he only played elite against the Vikings. And they were
But I say that to say this. Look, Drew Brees, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, but I'm really about to tell the truth about him. He's kind of like what people would say James Harden is when he gets to the playoffs. And I love James Harden, but he has these great regular seasons and then his performance dips once it's to playoffs. So in 2018, Drew Brees' quarterback rating in the regular season was 116. That's elite status. Then in the playoffs, it turns to 95.6. That's great, right? But that's not elite. He wasn't what he needed to be.
How far did they go?
I think they won a game at most. I think 2018 was a year that they called that call on
the non-pass interference.
Yeah, the non-pass interference.
So against the Rams.
Yeah, Drew Brees threw a pick.
Okay.
You can't even hold that against him, though.
No, yeah, I can't. But at the end of the day, they should have won. But you had a chance to win and you threw a pick.
Okay.
That's unacceptable to me.
So that's 2018.
But 2019,
okay.
Last year, you give Kirk Cousins his first playoff win.
I don't know what happened last year. I don't know.
It might have been one, but okay. Last year, Drew Brees was elite in the regular season, 116 quarterback rating again. In the playoffs, 90.4 quarterback rating. So why is your performance dipping so much? I just don't get it. And I love Drew Brees, but I just have a gut feeling that they ruined his best years from 2013 to 2017. That's when Drew Brees was at his best, putting up 5,000 yards damn near a season, and you couldn't get to the playoffs because your defense was so horrible. And now when Drew Brees started to decline, their defense is good, but he's not good enough to lead them that far in the playoffs.
That's a good point.
My biggest, and like you said, I love Drew Brees. So, it is upsetting for me to see him trending down because he was the quarterback that we grew up with. Him, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. That was like the crop of quarterbacks that we grew up on. So to see him declining it's upsetting. I really like him as a player. He seems like a pretty good dude. And
didn't he say a racist comment like a couple months ago?
Nah, he didn't say a racist comment. It was like about the flag, but
yeah.
It wasn't racist.
Do I think that he can play good enough to take them to the Super Bowl? Yes, but like you said, I think that they're a good enough team to get to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be Drew Brees carrying them to the Super Bowl. I just think that they have a good enough unit that if he plays at the level that he's been playing at, I think that would be good enough that they could make a run. But I don't think that he's at a level anymore that he could carry them to the Super Bowl. And I think that he's been on that level. Like you said, he had those prime years where he was putting up 5,000 yards a year. He was spectacular. Absolutely. He's not on that level anymore. He's not the same player. And one of my biggest concerns is I was reading that this offseason he wanted to retire, and the Saints convinced him to come back. I think that he's done. I think he's just mentally checked out of it.
It's probably his last year.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
And now you see, looking ahead for them, they have Jameis Winston waiting in the wings for next year. Maybe he's the guy to take over. I don't know. he was hit or miss for the Bucks
That's
last year,
guy.
but would the Bucks be would the Saints be better off this year potentially with Jameis Winston than Drew Brees? We don't know because we can't see Jameis Winston in this system with Sean Payton with the LASIK eye surgery he got this offseason.
That would be scary.
It would be very interesting.
It could
to
be
see.
scary, and it also could be a very bad thing. But it would definitely be an interesting thing to see happen.
When we look at elite quarterbacks that lead their teams to the Super Bowl, we look at Mahomes. And, when we look at elite quarterbacks in general, the Lamar Jacksons, the Mahomes, what do they have? They have the ability to run, and they have the ability to throw the ball.
They're also really, really young.
Okay, and they have the ability to run down the field. But Drew Brees has never had the strongest arm. He's never been a dual-threat quarterback. And the last couple of years, I mean, look, he averaged in his first 2 games right now, he's averaging 4.8 yards, air yards per pass. That's the worst since Brett Favre in 2009.
Yeah, and if you look at the receptions, it lines up. You know, the leading receiver is Alvin Kamara with 14 receptions, and then the next highest receiver is Jared Cook with 7.
Yeah.
So
and last year, Drew Brees, his passes per air yards was 6.4. That was the lowest amongst any quarterback in the league last year. And then there's another stat. On passes thrown 35 yards or more in the air, in 2018, he went 1 for 8. He only completed 1 pass. Last year, he was 0 for 5. So he only attempted 5 passes that went over 35 yards throughout the entire season last year. I just don't think you can win like that. And in my opinion, they need a spark. I think Teddy probably would have been a better fit for them now in this current day. And I think they need a spark, and I think that spark is Jameis Winston. I think Jameis isn't.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't think Jameis is Seamus anymore. I think Jameis is legit.
What evidence do you have for us to tell us that?
Because Jameis threw 30 touchdowns, and I think in Sean.
No, say the other stat. He threw 30 touchdowns and what?
In Sean Payton's system, Jameis can be an elite quarterback, and I strongly believe in that. I think Jameis can really be, maybe elite is too far, but I think he can be a great quarterback in Sean Payton's system, without a doubt. Okay. Especially once they get Michael Thomas back.
Let me ask you a question. Quick question. Do you think Aaron Rodgers was elite last year?
Thought he was great.
You thought he was great? Okay. Do you think the Packers were an elite team last year?
Certain parts.
So you don't think the Saints can make a Packer-like run this year where they get to the NFC Conference Championship? Because they have a better team than the Packers last year.
I don't think
Drew Brees plays just good.
Because Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, they're not even close right now.
Yeah, but the team,
I think it's pretty much the same. I mean,
okay.
You look at okay, outside of Michael Thomas, you have no threat of receiver. I guess people want to put Emmanuel Sanders there, but their offense without Mike Thomas is mediocre at best.
Outside of Devontae Adams, what do they have to throw the ball to?
The Packers have even less, I would argue.
But I think they have a way stronger running game. Alvin Kamara is more of a receiving back.
That's respectable.
I think they have more of a running game, and they can keep themselves in games like that. But I thought last year the Packers were one of the most overrated good record teams.
Right.
Like, I don't think they'll go to the conference championship this year. I may be wrong, but I don't see it. And the Saints, I don't see it either because I don't feel like they have a strong running game anymore. You have no threat of receiver outside of Mike Thomas. And their secondary looks kind of iffy. Janoris Jenkins gets a lot of pass interference calls.
Well, I mean, yeah, but let's not forget what Marshawn Lattimore did the first week against Mike Evans. He's not a regular. Mike
Evans was dealing with an injury, and I think it's their Tom Brady in his first game.
Come on,
their second matchup, it won't be close.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I just feel like the Saints are easily a top 5 team in the NFC, easily without a doubt. I think it really is going to come down to matchups in the playoffs and who they play. And you're right. If Drew Brees, if Drew Brees doesn't play well, they're probably not going to win. But I think he's going to play good enough I think as the season progresses, he's going to get a little better and a little better. And if he plays good enough in the playoffs, I think they'll be okay.
And another thing, when the point that you brought up about the Packers.
Oh, no, I was just asking a question.
Yeah, but their division is bad, right? Last year was bad. Outside of Minnesota, but Minnesota, nobody really takes them seriously. So
nobody takes Kirk Cousins seriously.
You look at the NFC South right now, Tampa Bay is there. If the Saints let up, especially Mike Thomas missing the next couple of weeks, they can run away with this division easily.
The good thing is for them, though, the Panthers and the Falcons are not there. So
Yeah.
they have that
But you
cushion
know
of
what?
knowing-
The Panthers and the Falcons will make their
It's a
games
division game, though.
competitive.
It's always going to be competitive
Yeah.
in the division.
But even
Yeah.
the Panthers, I think the Panthers' offense is really dynamic.
I think Christian McCaffrey's out for a couple
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah,
He's
he
out.
is, but Curtis Samuel is super fast. Robbie is too, and DJ Moore is a great receiver.
Oh,
Like
he's tough.
they got some guys that can make plays in Carolina. And Robbie's like top 5 in receiving yards right now.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah.
I like DJ Moore. He's really good.
I have a question for you, though, on one thing you said, though, about bringing in Jameis. Do you really think that they would bench Drew
Did you
Brees
really
for
ask him
Jameis?
that?
Like, at any point in the season, I don't think that there's any, unless Drew Brees literally throws like 5 interceptions a game,
would never happen.
I don't think they will ever sit Drew Brees for Jameis Winston unless there's
Yeah.
an injury.
They have way too much respect for Drew Brees.
Exactly.
But yeah, unless there is an injury, they won't bench Drew Brees. But I think that Jameis is what they need. I think Jameis is that guy eating W's pre-game, motivating his teammates. I don't know. I just think they need something fresh. And I think Jameis is that fresh.
I feel like it's better for him to sit just because off the simple fact to get the knowledge, to get the behind the scenes work. I think it'll be better in the long run if he just sits out this year, watch Drew Brees work, watch his final year, and then next year really take the keys if he decides to stay.
He got drafted in 2015.
I really,
Jameis, I think he's done learning. I think you could put him to play now.
no.
There's
I
no such thing
disagree.
as done learning.
I think that this
No
is the
such thing as
perfect
he's
spot
learning
for him.
behind one of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
And
That's
he's
not
learning that
so.
system.
That's not so great right now.
So he still got knowledge, still got wisdom. Like, who was he learning in Tampa Bay? Who's like he was throwing 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. Like,
Now, yeah, I get that, but I'm saying I don't think that. I think one of it in Bruce Arians' system, quarterbacks throw a bunch of turnovers. I mean, it's a fact. Carson Palmer, Ben Roethlisberger, Andrew Luck, Jameis, like they had a bunch of turnovers. That's what happens in your first year of Bruce Arians' system.
but 30 interceptions.
He's a
Did
gunslinger.
Did anybody throw 30?
He's a gunslinger.
Yo,
That's who he is.
I really like Jameis, and I hope he decides to go back to New Orleans because that would be so much fun to watch next year. I think that if you just ran it back with the same roster and Jameis Winston, I would be intrigued. He would stretch the field for him, and maybe you're right. Maybe he is.
He'll
exactly
take shots
what they
down the
need right
field.
now. Yeah.
He'll definitely
Yeah.
take more than
Oh, yeah.
5
no,
passes
yeah.
down the field.
Winston's gonna sling it. He's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
throw that ball, whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
He's gonna throw it.
And watching him with Mike Thomas would be. Oof.
Hello, guys. You just watched a clip from Pick a Side. If you like our content, please like and subscribe and share our content across every platform. It helps us grow. Thank you for watching, and see you later.